Let's go inland from Bega now to the New South Wales Riverina. Over the past 2 years, boys and men, aged between 15 and 23, have been living in an old bed and breakfast at Narrandera, not far from where they work, at the JBS abattoir at Yanco. They come from the Northern Territory, often from isolated and troubled communities. They're part of a program called Boys from the Bush, which aims to get disadvantaged Aboriginal youth off the streets and into work. Our reporter Larissa Smith paid a visit and spoke firstly to the program's director, Milton James.
This is an industry that these young people preferred, and this is an industry that they understand. A lot of these young people come from the bush, and so they've grown up going out with family hunting and processing wild animals. So they're familiar with the sights and the sounds and the textures and whatnot of this type of work, processing animals for food. And so it's a small step for them to go from hunting in the bush to working in the meatworks.
Have you noticed the change in their behaviour, in their self-confidence, in their attitudes towards life since being down here and having employment?
Definitely, because that's what the scheme is all about. The scheme is to help young people develop the necessary life skills so that they can forge a better quality life. And when they do well at their work, they acquire the confidence and the self-esteem that goes along with young people who have been recognised by their employer and their workmates as having skills comparable to any other out there in the meatworks. The department, that's the Department of Education, Employment and Workplace Relations, they've been funding this scheme in large part since its very beginning in 2005.
What about support from the Aboriginal community and leaders like Noel Pearson?
Well, Noel worked with me in the development of this scheme right in the beginning back in 2005. He was very supportive of this scheme. He was primarily focused on the welfare reform agenda on Cape York, but this scheme was going beyond Cape York.
Hi, I'm Lazarus Grant and I'm from Tennant Creek, Northern Territory. I was working at a cattle station in Kiona Station.
What's your role?
I'm a boner. Yeah, I take meats out of the cattle when it's up on the stands and just bone it out till there's no meat on the bone.
How difficult was it for you to leave your family behind?
It wasn't difficult for me. I always wanted this, to get away from home and learn some new experience.
And have a bit of an adventure.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
How long do you hope to stick it out here?
Stick it out here till I get my qualifications, I reckon. Be another year or so. Wouldn't mind going back to Tennant Creek, but they don't have no meat processing area in Northern Territory, so there's one in Townsville. I might move up there, don't know.
What do you think of the program?
Yeah, it's a deadly program. Getting all the young people off the streets, especially one as me. Yeah, I grew up in a pretty much wild lifestyle, so this is a good choice.
Yeah, well, I'm Laurie Barrett. I'm from Lemon River. It's about 10 hours from Darwin, south. Yep.
And what were you doing before you decided to get involved in the scheme?
Oh, well, I actually finished boarding school last year, then I just went back home working for a while. Then I was on holiday in Borroloola, just doing nothing, sitting around, and I ran into Milton, and yeah, he told me, or one of my aunties told me he was recruiting boys to come down here and get a good job and get away from all the bad stuff up there.
You getting into a bit of trouble?
Oh no, I wasn't, just yeah.
But you felt the need to get away?
Yeah, because there's not a lot of opportunity up there at all, like high jobs like this and that.
What do you do at the plant?
Yeah, I'm on the boning trainer as well. Yeah, same.
Do you think that you'd like to see more people from remote Aboriginal communities doing work like this, getting involved in these sorts of projects? Would you like to see some of your friends join you? Yeah,
I would. It's probably harder for them. Not all of them are that focused to want to really excel or do something, because they just been too far dragged down, and they're pretty much like, you'll have to do a lot of work with them to bring them through. But yeah, there's always finding a couple that are good. Yeah, well, I've been brought up pretty well, so yeah, I've always been set, but just haven't had to, just got out of school and just looking around, and then I got that chance, so yeah, I just took it and didn't look back.
Paul Gilligan, and I'm the plant manager. Everyone on the plant that's had anything to do with all these young kids have really taken them under their wing. One of the better jobs here, as far as a good paying job, and that everyone tries to reach the goal, is a boner. We've had one of our boys from the bush get to that stage. He's now a qualified boner, and the rest of them all admire him. He's like the kingpin of the group now, and they're all trying to get to his status. And he lets them know that he is the boner too, because that gives him he's the king of the roost. So yeah, they're all trying to get to that, and I think there's a lot of them now. We've got 3 of them in the boning program, so as trainees, so they'll go well.
How many do you think you've had coming through the program since its inception here?
We've had about close to 40 all up between us and the feedlot. A lot of them a couple of them are actually gone away and come back to this plant. So that to me is saying that the system works. The program is, it's really given us some achievements. Milton's put a lot of time into it. We've put a lot of time into it. And let's just hope in the future we can get a lot more of them through the system.
Could it work elsewhere?
I think it could work in any industry. Nearly every industry in Australia that is, having a bit of a boom now are struggling for people. And I think this is one way that we could all get on board and go for this Boys from the Bush program. Other plants, it suits us and it works well here for us. I think it'll work well at other plants, and I'm quite sure down the track there'll be a lot more plants going this direction, the same as Riverina.
Paul Gilligan from JBS Australia's abattoir Riverina Beef in southwest New South Wales, speaking to Larissa Smith about the Boys from the Bush employment program.